What is going on, guys? Trengeezy Designs here with a brand new video. We are here in Canada for round 5 of our My Team Championship here in F1 2020. We are a couple points behind our teammate Charles Leclerc, and then Valtteri Bottas is literally right on top of us right now. We struggled really bad in Spain last round. If you haven't already, go and check that video out before watching the rest of this one. It was an amazing comeback drive from us, and it was extremely good damage control for the championship because that day could have went a lot worse. So we are going to get right into it, and we are hoping to not get knocked out of qualifying due to a crash. Spoiler alert. Like in Spain is what took us out of qualifying, was a crash. We are trying not to do that this go around, but we are going into qualifying 1, and perfect. Nothing happened. Sadly, practice did not start out as smoothly. We had a electrical systems fault, and we had to wait for that to get repaired, and here it is. That is the beautiful screen that I was greeted by in practice 1. That. 2 minutes of practice gone, so hopefully nothing happens during qualifying, and we can do extremely well in the race. So we're going to try and do our best here in qualifying. We do have a heavier downforce setup because of rain that is coming in the race. Yes, it is another rain race, so we have to be prepared for the rain instead of the dry. But onto the flying lap, we're about to come around the final chicane. We put in a quick flyer. We ended up P3. We are trying to get Charles Leclerc off of that pole position. Can we do it? Well, let's find out right now. We're going to charge into the first corner and completely overshoot the apex. Not what we want on our final flyer, but this is only Q1, and we are into Q2 without any issue, but we want to show our pace. Even though we have a higher downforce setup for the rain, we can still show our pace here in the dry because we will have more cornering grip, just not as much top speed. So we're going to try and go faster than our previous time, which we are 0.3 of a second up right now. Coming out of that corner, we get a little bit of wheel spin, but not much. We are 0.5, we are half a second faster right now. We almost lock up, but we don't. Going into the final hairpin. Now it is all out into the final chicane. We need to hit the final chicane absolutely perfectly if we want any chance of gaining even more time. We are slowly dropping time, 0.449. We braked later. We get through that perfect. We are 0.8 up. Now, what is it going to be across the line? 0.27 seconds off of our teammate. That is where we end up staying. That was our final lap. It is us on Trengeezy Designs 1 and 2. Hamilton, Perez, Stroll, Verstappen, Ocon, Giovinazzi, Bottas, and Sainz are all in the top 10. We have Gasly, Vettel, Norris, and Ricciardo. So the two McLarens both struggling, actually, for being a higher-up team. Then we have Kvyat, Latifi, and that is your Q2. Albon, Magnussen, De Vries, Russell, Aitken, and Zhao in the lower teams. Actually, that was Albon in the Red Bull that did not make it into Q2. That is extremely shocking. But on to Q2. We are on our final lap. We are actually in second on this go-around. That was our flyer earlier in the session, but we are going to try and advance our time, try and make up a little bit more time than what we had in our previous best. So into turn 3 and 4, we are going to try and put our car right where we want it. First corner we good, and then we get some oversteer. That does not help our best time. We do still set purple first sector, but it is not where we want to be. That corner we absolutely butchered, but we are going to try and gain back as much time as possible. We are 0.2 up going into right around the final sector right now. 0.1 separates us from our best time. but we actually lose time going into the final hairpin. So now we try to open it up as early as possible. We try to get everything going as early as possible to gain as much time into the final corner. It does not look like it is going to be any better than what we have right now, as we are actually dropping time. We hit that absolutely perfect though, and it puts us 0.3 seconds up on our best, but it is still only 0.2 away from our teammate Charles Leclerc, who gets pole once again on the harder compound tires. He is on those slower medium compound tires. But the McLaren of Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, Vettel, Kvyat, Giovinazzi, and Latifi are all out going into Q3. So it is now the top 10 shootout, and we are going to try and get onto pole. So going into Q3, we are aiming for pole. So this is our beginning lap. This is why we are on the yellow walled medium tires. We are just setting our baseline run, basically. So we are going to try and get better than our teammate, which right now Verstappen and Perez both are on the softs. Everyone is going to probably be running softs here in this session. But we are running the medium tires to set our flyer of a lap, just to see what time we can get with mediums. So let's see what time we're able to get. As in the top left hand corner, you can see Verstappen for P3 is running a 41 second in sector 2. That is now Perez in third. Verstappen goes faster. We are actually slower in Sector 2 than Perez, who is in 4th. And now everyone is starting to come through. Right now for 5th place is a 1:10.0, set by Lando Norris in the McLaren. So we are going to see what time we get coming across the line. I don't think it's going to be all that quick, but we don't actually have our time on the top right, which I was correct. We are 3rd place at 0.5 seconds down on our teammate Leclerc. It is Leclerc, Hamilton, us, Verstappen, and Perez. That is the top 5. Actually, someone goes faster than Leclerc. I want to say that was Bottas in the Mercedes going faster than our teammate, but we are going to try and set a second fastest lap here on the medium tires. Coming around. Hopefully the Ferrari in front of us moves fairly quickly, because we do not want to run into the back of him and stall out our time, which he does. He just moves out of the way, allows us to go right through. We have a minor lockup, and he tries to come up our inside, actually. Lapper is trying to get extremely aggressive here in qualifying, so that should show for a good race. But we are going to be coming into this final chicane, brake at the 100-meter board, get us down into 4th, short shift to 5th, get as much traction out of that final corner as possible. What can we set? It is fastest by almost a second. But in the end up, everyone started going a little bit quicker, and we get pole, exactly what we wanted on the slower compound tire, believe it or not. It is us followed by teammate Charles Leclerc, then Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes, Sergio Perez in the Renault getting 5th, Verstappen, Stroll, Norris, Ricciardo, and Ocon. That is the top 10. Everyone else got sorted out. But we are 5 lights. We are getting right into it, and we are off. A lot of wheel spin out of everyone on the line, but here we go. We have Leclerc on our outside. You can see by those red indicators. He is right there on us. We are on this faster compound tire currently. The 3 behind us have the yellow walled medium tires on. We take really big track liberties with turn 3. Thankfully didn't get a warning or anything. But right now it is going to be full push. We have to get away from Charles if we want to win. We have to get away from the entire pack if we want to win. But he is not letting us go. He is 0.4 away from us. We are dropping the 2 Mercedes. They are 2 seconds behind me. Almost a full 1.5 seconds behind Leclerc behind me. And you can see right there in our mirror down on the bottom right, he is right there coming into some of these corners. He knows that he needs to win if he wants to extend that points lead, but at the same time, we have to win. So this is going to show for a very, very intense race, but it is us followed by the 2 Mercedes, Perez, Verstappen. All these guys are coming through now, but us up at the front, we are trying to run away. We actually gained a lot of time through that last chicane, second and a half actually, so we are trying to push now and get away from him as soon as possible, because these soft tires are going to fade away quick in this race. We fast forward to lap 6 and the tires are starting to fade away. This was what I was fearful of. This was why I wanted to get away from everyone behind us. The pit window is now open, lap 7 to lap 15. That is where we want to pit, but we cannot wait too long to pit. If we wait too long, these tires fall off the face and we get sucked into Leclerc, Hamilton, and Bottas's grip. So we cannot allow that to happen. So we are going to pit at the end of this lap, and we are going to hopefully be on the fresher rubber and be able to catch back up before their next pit. Because if we cannot catch them before their next pit, they go on to softs. And we will not be able to catch them because these guys are extremely quick on the soft compound tires. So, like I said, we have a higher downforce setup right now into the car, which is why so many sparks is coming up from the bottom of this car. This setup is actually made for the rain. Surprisingly, it is working extremely well here in the dry, but we are diving into the pits now. We are going to try have a good stop and then get back out there as soon as possible. Our teammate comes by right now. There he goes. Hamilton and Bottas following shortly behind. Then it's Perez. Can we get out in front of the Renault of Perez? We are coming out of the pit lane right now. There are the 2 Mercedes. There is Charles. He is leading now. There is the 2 Mercedes, and there is Perez. He comes out right in front of us. Directly in front of us, and now we need to chase him. It shouldn't be that hard because his tires should be falling away. And you can see right there, we are on top of him now. We are charging out of the pits, trying to make up as much ground as possible, as quickly as possible. So, we need to get after Perez right now in order to get back up to the 2 Mercedes and ultimately our teammate, the championship leader. We need to catch him in order to have a shot at the championship still. But we are gaining on Perez coming into the final hairpin, and he is extremely slow with those worn out tires. We are all over him. We're going to try and go up his inside, but we can't without the slipstream. So we're going to overtake Rich Mix, and we are going to go by with the help of DRS as well. He is going to dive into the pits behind us, so that is us into clean air. There is Perez into the pits. We have clean air, and there are the 2 Mercedes right in front of us. We can see them now. Before we couldn't see them, but we can see them now. This is the man we want to go after, though, is our teammate. He is probably around 6, maybe 7 seconds up the road, and we need to catch him, like, as soon as possible. But first, we need to worry about the 2 Mercedes, who are still 3.5 seconds away from us. We can just barely see them on the longer straights. We should be able to see them. We just caught the rear end of Bottas into that corner that we just went through. Can we see them now? There they are. They are in the hairpin. We are now in the hairpin. We are around 3 seconds down, but we are gaining quickly now. We have some fresh air. We are going. Overtake down this main straight. We are trying to gain as much time as possible. 2.4. Can we make up more time through the chicane? It is a game of making up time right now. We take a little bit of track liberty in that chicane, but we are good. 2 seconds now separate us and Bottas in the Mercedes in front of us. You can just see how quickly these fresher tires are gaining on the older medium tires. Now the question is, is how much are these two going to slow us up coming after our teammate. We are now just over a second out of reach, and you can see the clouds are coming in. The rain is on the way right now. We need to make it through these guys as soon as possible, but here you can see we are gaining extremely quickly coming through this chicane. We are heading into the final hairpin right on top of these guys. Can we make up time under braking? Yes, we can. Look at that. We are now right on top of Valtteri Bottas in that Mercedes, which is extremely quick, but we are quicker with the help of DRS. We cannot actually make up any time right now because he has DRS as well, but we are going to swing wide and we are going to try and get around him on the outside, but he late brakes and does not allow us to get a run at his outside. But we just saw Leclerc and Hamilton both dove into the pits for new tires. They are now on the softs. We need to get around Bottas right now in order to get away from those two who should be coming out of the pit lane soon. We cannot waste time with Bottas as we continue to hound him and just put the pressure on him, trying to make him lock up, trying to make him do something, force him into a mistake. We cannot waste our time with Bottas, and he is not cracking under the pressure, but we have overtake, we've got Rich, and we got DRS. We're going to make a move up the outside. He's going to try and squeeze us. He doesn't lock up. We lock up. We are just bleeding time right now trying to fight for this position, but we have the overall advantage coming onto this final straight, and you can see how much darker the skies are. The rain is literally right here, right now. Maybe a lap, but we are going to go up the inside. We fly past Bottas in that Mercedes. We are going to brake right around where we normally brake. I accidentally knocked out the braking marker, so I don't have a marker anymore to brake off of, but that was right around where we brake. So now the name of the game is try and get away from our teammate with a faster compound tire. We end up actually not making up any time. We start losing a little bit of time, and now we are on lap 12, lap 13 now, and the rain is finally here. Little did I know it was going to come in as heavily as it did. We end up losing a lot of time out here on the track because I did not expect the rain to make the track as treacherous as it did, as quickly as it did. As you can see, we are already kind of starting to slip around a little bit, not as much traction. We're being told we have a new strategy going on to inters, and right there, the front end starts pushing. This sector got hit with the rain first, so this is the wettest part of the track, and we find that out right now. Complete lockup. We completely overshoot that hairpin. Not what we want, and absolutely no traction when we get on the gas. This is not what we want. We wanted to stay fairly ahead of our teammate, but we bled almost a full second and a half to our teammate right there in that little track altercation with having zero grip coming into that corner. But we are now in the pits, and here is Leclerc coming in right behind us. We are double stacking, and we should be able to go in and out and not have the two cars get stacked up. But right at the top of the screen, you see the pink and purple car coming into the pits. There he is. He is now in the pits, and he is going to want this win, so we need to get out, and we need to go. We need to try and leave him, and actually, Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes stays out on slicks. He stays out on the slicks, on the soft compound slicks. He is going to have zero grip. Our teammate Leclerc is actually right on him now as we speak. And there is that battle. You can see Leclerc is impatient. He knows he needs to get around Bottas to come after us, but Bottas is just holding him up right now with those complete slick tires. As you can see though, there is zero push from Bottas as he cannot. Charles can. He has the intermediate tires. He has the preferred tire right now. and you can just see the difference in speed between the two sets of tires in this condition. And we get a massive oversteer moment that is just going to let him close up onto us even more than where he already is. But we actually gain back a little bit coming out of it. So Rich coming into it, we need to remember where our braking zone is, because the wet makes the braking zone extend just that little bit more. So we need to remember where that 100-meter board was and where we need to brake. But we come through turns 1 and 2 at around 7 seconds up on our teammate. So we are going to try and push on the wets, and we are going to try and get away from our teammate right now. We have about 10 minutes left of the rain, but that is not going to be enough. We only have around 5 minutes left in this race, so this rain will be sticking around with us for this entire race here on out. We have another oversteer moment, and you can just see these tires are not where I need them to be operating wise. Our teammate should be better on these tires than what we are right now, and that will more than likely allow him to close in that 7.5 second gap. Let's see if we can keep him at bay, though. That is our hope. That is our intention. Now, let's push. Put our head down, try and minimize the mistakes, and let's stay where we are ahead of our teammate. Because if you remember, Charles at Spain in the rain was one of the fastest drivers on the track. There he is, actually. He can just barely see us in the end of the longest straight here in Canada, which was that straight. So he can just see us as we come around the final chicane, meaning he is right there within a mistakes distance, basically. If we make one big mistake, that is our race. He is going to be on top of us. We cannot afford to make a mistake. But coming on to the final lap, we stay right around 6 seconds ahead. We bled a little bit of time because I made a couple of mistakes there on the lap that we skipped, but minor mistakes, locking up, maybe a couple understeer moments, oversteer moments, but nothing too major that would allow him to close up all that much. So with that being said, final lap, we cannot make a mistake now. This is where we need to be absolutely perfect. We cannot afford to make a mistake. He is only 6 seconds. Before we had a little bit of a buffer. Now we need to be absolutely perfect, and that is exactly what I don't do. We make the mistake that I did not need to make. Where is he? Is he going to be there? He is here now. We are in a fight on the final lap. We have half of a lap still here in Canada, and he is right on top of us. He is about to push us through a corner, basically. He is right there. He is going to be better on these tires than us. We already know this. And look at how much he is gaining, actually, coming into braking zones and stuff. He is so much more comfortable in these conditions than we are. But we are going to try and hold him off coming into the final hairpin. Can we do that? We lock up a little bit. He is now right there looking in that mirror. He is right on top of us. He is letting us know, hey, I'm here. If you make any slight mistake, I am here now. I am here to fight. We have one corner left, the chicane. We go extremely defensive. We're actually parked up in the middle of the track trying to keep ourselves as wide as possible. Massive oversteer moment coming into the finish. He pulls out alongside. Can he get us in the final straight? No, he cannot. We win the Canadian Grand Prix in dramatic fashion. What a race. But with that, we keep our championship hopes alive. We do not lose any more points to our teammate, and we actually gain back a decent amount of points. We did not do good in Spain, and this race was amazing to bounce back in the exact same conditions with variables. It started dry and we get into the wet as the race goes on. There is no better bounce back than to do a mixed conditions race and win in the very conditions that you crashed out of. So, with that being said, we top the table at 26 points because we set the fastest time. We get that extra point, and that extra point gets us tied with our teammate in the point standings. These are the points now. We are 19 clear of Valtteri Bottas in that Mercedes. Can we stay up here? It is us, Leclerc, and Hamilton is your podium. Perez, Bottas, Verstappen, Norris, Ricciardo, Stroll, Kvyat are the top 10, followed by Ocon, Vettel, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Albon, Gasly, and everyone else. But I hope you guys really enjoyed that one. We are heading into France for the next Grand Prix, and with anything we need to go by with this last race, France should be an extremely good race. You do not want to miss that race. I promise you that. The championship is tightening up extremely between me and my teammate. It always has been tight as we are the top two, but you can see 1-1-3 allowed us to have a buffer that gave us the perfect amount of points that if we won, we tied here in Canada. And there is our rivalry with Lewis Hamilton. We are winning that. But that is all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't. I've noticed a lot of you guys are not subscribed that are watching my videos, so please take a moment to hit that subscribe, and we will talk to you guys all in the next one. So hopefully we will see you there. Peace.